I always thought I'd be the guy who cried when his kid was born. I had the proposal planned, the nursery painted, the baby name picked. I thought I was about to become a father. But the truth was, I already knew I wasn't. I found out 3 months before she gave birth by accident. A guy named Brian messaged me late one night, said he had to come clean. Said he was the real father of the baby my girlfriend was carrying. I stared at the message for hours. My chest went tight. I didn't believe him at first, but he sent screenshots, messages between them, photos, even a voice note where she said, "We just have to keep up appearances. He'll believe the baby's his." That broke me. Not just the betrayal, but the coldness of it. I confronted her the next day. She cried, said it was a mistake, that Brian meant nothing, that she loved me. And when I asked why she'd lie about something so big, she looked me in the eyes and said, "I didn't want to lose you. I wanted us to be a family." I almost walked out right then, but something made me stop. Maybe it was stupidity. Maybe it was shock. But part of me thought, she's carrying a life. I couldn't bring myself to destroy everything in that moment. So I made a choice. I didn't tell her I knew Brian had messaged me. I acted like I believed her, smiled. I kissed her forehead. I held her hand at OB appointments. I watched the sonograms and painted the baby's room. I pretended, not for her, but because I needed time. I needed space to figure out what kind of man I wanted to be. And truthfully, I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done, not through yelling or violence, but through cold, undeniable truth. So I waited. The due date came. We drove to the hospital together. She was nervous, excited, crying a little from the pain. I held her hand the whole time. I played the role perfectly. The doctors were kind. The delivery was smooth. And then, there it was, this tiny, red, crying life. She held the baby and looked at me with tears in her eyes. "He has your nose," she whispered, and I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because of how deeply sad and ironic it was. I waited until we were alone in the room. She was holding the baby against her chest. I stood beside her and said softly, "You don't have to lie anymore." She blinked. "What do you mean?" I looked at the baby. Then at her. "He's not mine?" "I know." Her whole body stiffened. Her arms curled tighter around the baby. I kept going. "I know about Brian. I've known for months. He told me everything. The messages, the plan to lie to me, all of it." Her mouth opened like she wanted to speak, but no sound came out. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't angry. I was calm. That made it worse. "You lied to me," I said. "For months, you were going to let me raise a child that wasn't mine. You were going to let me believe he was mine forever." She started crying, loud, panicked sobs. "I didn't know what to do," she said. "I made a mistake. I didn't want to lose you." "You already did," I said. Then I turned and walked out. I didn't look back. I could hear her crying behind me, but I didn't stop. I left the hospital. I sat in my car for over an hour, staring at nothing. I didn't go home. I drove to my brother's place and crashed on his couch. When he asked what happened, I told him everything. Over the next few days, I got calls from her. Voicemails, texts, apologies, promises, please. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I went to therapy, told my family. I told Brian he was going to have to step up and be a father now. He was stunned. Said he never thought I'd actually find out. Said she told him I'd never believe him. Said he was sorry. I didn't care. That baby wasn't mine. I wasn't going to raise a lie. The hardest part, I really did love her. I really was going to propose. The ring was in my closet, hidden behind some boxes. I'd had it for months. I was going to ask her on the day our son was born. That was the plan. But instead, I walked out of a hospital room alone, heartbroken, holding nothing but the truth. People have asked me if I regret it, if I miss her, if I wonder what could have been. And I do. Every day. But I also know this. I would rather be alone than be with someone who saw my love as something to manipulate. I don't know what happens to her and the baby now. I've cut off all contact, but I hope that kid has a good life. I hope he's loved, even if it's not by me. I've learned a lot about myself through this, about patience, about self-control, about pain, about dignity. And now, when people ask me why I did it the way I did and why, I waited until the delivery room I tell them this. Because sometimes the truth needs silence to be heard. 'Cause sometimes the quietest goodbye is the loudest. And because she'll never forget the moment she realized I knew all along, what would you have done?